the stock market morning prep video for Friday, September 12th. Another lackluster day in the markets. Dow Jones down 19, almost down 20 points. Nasdaq up 5, S&P up $1.76, and the Russell up $7.36. We did have a little bit of movement to the upside. We rolled back down to the downside, and just we marked a low right around 10:15 or so. Then we pushed higher, and we just kind of grinded all day. So another lackluster day. It's going on for a whole week, and like I said, to be quite honest, like I mentioned the last couple of days, it's incredible how the markets are now extremely quiet yet again. And again, is that a bearish thing? No, it's actually quite a bullish thing, because we are sitting at these still at these lofty levels. The indicators are unwinding from that extreme overbought now to being almost neutral. So that is a good sign. But it's going to be really, I think, based on what the almighty dollar is going to do. And in front of you, we talked that we had a little bit of a conversation on the dollar, which is the DX, the spot dollar index. And you could see we are just hovering right here at these highs from this explosive move up. And I showed you yesterday on the weekly chart. This is what I like to see. We have this move here. We sold off. We tried it here. We sold off. We tried it again. And now we're at it again. So this is a big move, guys. And this is where I think the dollar's going to influence where the market's going to go. And again, I mentioned, I'm not going to get into it again, but see yesterday's video. We talked about how you can look at it two ways of the dollar at these levels. All right. So now we want to pay attention to the dollar because of the commodities. Soft commodities such as grains, you have precious metals, and of course the almighty crude oil really took it on the chin, and that also took down a lot of the commodity stocks. Yesterday was an important day, and I'm going to show crude oil to you here. We had a low of 90.43, and we exploded back to the upside. There's two things. One, obviously, we are extremely oversold from the June lows, to be expected. Even a decent pullback to the 200 right up in here would not be out of the norm. Okay. Also, the dollar. Watch the dollar, because if the dollar starts to roll over here like it did a few times before, that's also going to catch a bid in crude oil. Okay. And of course, we have lackluster geopolitical tensions that really aren't any at the moment. Right. We're not getting any attention on the geopolitical conflicts. ISIS is well away and contained from many of the oil fields. You have Israel and Palestine really not saying much of anything. I think they have a ceasefire. We had some additional sanctions that was met actually yesterday in Russia-Ukraine, but nothing really came out of that. So watch crude oil, and I think we're going to get a nice play in crude, and even in the drillers, the services, and I mentioned that before, because once oil starts to spike, you're going to get a good move. And remember, a lot of these names have been really beaten down, like in SLB. Take a look at SLB here. SLB actually had just about, I could call an outside day reversal from yesterday, from the day before. I mean, even if you get a bounce into the 108, 109 area, it's a decent trade. Halliburton, which actually was up yesterday, I like that a lot. Halliburton really hasn't even retraced as much as Schlumberger, or do like a Baker Hughes. Same thing. We had a nice 2-day pop. Now, is it early? Yes. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't get into the names right now unless if you can find a spot to get in on a day trade. I'd let it base here a little bit, see where we go, and if we start to move higher on bigger volume, and we see bigger volume spikes, then yes, then I would definitely be looking for at least a trade at the moment in the oil sector. You could even do XLE, the ETF, if you don't want to be picking stocks. There's plenty of names in the XLE that you could actually get involved in. So just keep that in mind. I think that's going to be a really good play. Remember, we are waiting patiently on what the markets are going to do. And if you could see here in the ES, we haven't gone anywhere, right? We've been down, we've been up. Here's a daily chart, right? We have this big move lower, down over 5.5%. We ripped right back up over 6.5%, in literally like 15 trading days, straight up vertical. And now you can see the candles are getting larger. That means that volatility is starting to step in, although very quiet, and we're putting in these doji candlesticks here. So that tells me that the price is about to vacate the area when you get volatility start to pick up. and look at what the RSI started to roll over again. So that's a good sign, at least for the bulls, because if they can hold this 20-day moving average, then I think you're going to get a good spot for another move higher here. Okay, take a look at the hourly chart. You'll see what I mean. We haven't gone anywhere in 10 trading days now, probably 11 or 12. Here's yesterday's price action. We shot up, we sold off right away, and then we just kind of hovered right in here into the close, and we're flat right now in the ES. So very quiet. I mean, it's actually almost spooky and scary that you're sitting here waiting patiently, and you're thinking everybody's back to work. What's going on? I really think that the market participants and managers don't know what's going on either. I mean, it's this crazy action. You go to work, and you sit there like, all right, let's get going, and there's nothing going on. So there are a few things that are moving, that are starting to move again, like the energy space, which I'm gonna really focus on in the next coming days. And if I see something really good, I'm gonna start putting it out there. Right now, again, double top in the diamonds, which is the Dow Jones ETF, haven't gone anywhere. Okay, so this thing here needs to either start picking up some momentum to the upside, or this thing may break down again. Okay, let's take a look at the transports. Well, we got that common bull flag, as you can see here, and many times actually we've done little flag patterns here that we've actually flagged and popped up. So we are sitting right in this area, and yes, it is bullish. And until the markets tell us otherwise, watch the transports, because if they start to really explode higher, then you got to be careful, because it looks like we will go higher yet again. Okay, to be quite honest with you, I other than aside from oil, I just don't understand why the transports continue to just move up, move higher and higher. Aside from oil, and I know oil does take a big role, play a big role in the transports, but you look at some of the transportation stocks, aside from a big handful, they don't look so great. So anyway, the ETF's moving higher. That's all you really need to know. Watch the transports or the DJT index, and you'll see. But you can see we had volume that's just dried up. There's absolutely no volume at all. So let's keep an eye on that. That's actually one of our leaders. IWM, another leader. Now this is actually starting to get bullish here. We held the 34 to 50, and then we're back above the 20. Now remember that 61.8%, the big one from high to low here, is capping this move for now. All right. If we start to move higher, and look at this big outside day reversal in the IWM, so I do think that we could move higher. And we do have Friday. What happens when Friday is here? Even when we're back from the summer doldrums, we usually get a bullish bias, because it's a very quiet and subdued trading session. So just keep that in mind. And lastly is the Qs. Now the Qs have done incredibly well. It has been the leader, and actually the strongest index of the 5 that we follow. So still below that 50 average here in volume, but let's keep an eye on this, because this does look like it wants to move higher yet again. And to be quite frankly, I wouldn't be shorting the market at the moment, because it hasn't told us to do so. So let's just keep in mind. Let's be alert, and let's look for some different sectors that we can start to play here, because if crude oil starts to move, then you can play that sector. Home builders, look at the XHB. If they start to move, and right now I don't see anything really attractive at the moment. So let's keep an eye on certain stocks. And remember, guys, when in doubt, cash is definitely a position. We should start to see some movement. I mean, any day now. I mean, this is the official first week back, and we've gone nowhere. So let's see what happens today. More likely, I'm interested to see what goes on for next week and over the weekend, if there's any events that are happening. It just seems like the markets are waiting for some sort of another risk event. And we'll sit there and wait. All right, so be patient. Have a great weekend, and we'll speak to you on Monday. Take care.